Hello everyone and welcome back to another video on the channel Neon Duck. Welcome back to another CUPHEAD challenge. Now, I know in the last Beating the Game challenge I said that would be the last one, but no, I've decided to, after advice from someone in the comments, to do the uncharged shot again, but all on expert. And let me tell you, this was a lot harder. But sorry for not uploading the past couple days. I won't be uploading much for the next 2 weeks. Just there's a lot going on in my life right now, so I can't really upload much. But I'm sure I'll get back to my schedule soon after. But without further ado, let's just get started with the challenge. Okay, so of course we're not going to be starting like a new game, so we're just going to be doing the bosses on expert, well, because you have to, go on a previous existing one, but our first boss today will be the root pack. Now this is the standard issue boss. It's the first one you face. It's easy, so we did that. The first phase was easy, just had to shoot in one direction. Second phase as well, and final phase, yeah, just shoot up, and then we had the root pack done. Next we're going to be moving on to Goopy Legrand. Goopy was on expert. He was fine. Of course, the uncharged shot's not really the best weapon in the game, is it? But Goopy was fine. First phase was good. Second phase was all fine, and so was third. We did Goopy Legrand. Next, we're going to be moving on to Cagney Carnation. Now, this one was a bit harder because of the hitbox. Oh god, it's just really hard, the hitbox on Cagney. Because when she's doing I don't know, whatever you call it, her dancing thing, she's moving up and down, and if you just stand on one of the mushrooms and like shoot, then half the time it doesn't hit her, because it just goes underneath her. So that was a bit weird, but I will admit, Cagney was alright, and we managed to do Cagney. Last phase, of course, was fine, just to shoot in one direction. Next, we're going to be moving on to Ribby and Croaks. Ribby and Croaks was semi-hard, because on expert, when they do the first attacks on the first phase, they do it at the same time, and that was hard to get hits on them. The first phase we did, and the second phase was, usually just had to shoot in one direction and avoid the attacks. And then final phase, yeah, it was alright, it was quite hard. I had to hope I got the frogs and the bulls, not the tigers, so. But we did the final phase, of course. Next, we're going to be moving on to Inkwell Isle 2, finally. And we're going to be starting off with Beppy. Now, Beppy was, Beppy was Beppy, of course. Beppy, with Uncharged Shot, he's very up and down. The first phase was somehow the easiest, like it wasn't with Twist Up. But we did a first phase. Second phase was alright, I just had to shoot up. And then final phase again was fine as well. So, we managed to do Beppy, of course. Just a bit harder than the other two, other ones. Next, we're going to be moving on to Sugar, Baroness Von Bon Bon. This one was again very mid. It was very split between easy and hard. The first 3 phases were very random. I just had to hope that I didn't get the muffin, like most of these challenges. Yeah, we did the first 3 phases. Next we're going to go on to the final phase. The final phase was alright. It was just, if you stay on final phase for a long time, you start to drift off, and it just does get really repetitive, and you're bound to make a mistake. But we did Baroness Von Bon Bon, of course. Next, we're going to be moving on to Grim Matchstick, possibly the one that took the longest. Now, Grim was... He was very up and downy. We did Grim, of course, but he just took a long time. First phase was, on expert the clouds go in different ways, so it was actually a lot easier. But first phase was the hardest by far, because the attacks were coming out fast, and the clouds were going the opposite way. But we did first phase. Second phase was fine, because on expert it's way easier, because the clouds go in the other direction, which means you're going towards the boss, which means you don't constantly have to turn back. And then final phase, yeah, just had to try not to shoot as much when they were doing their those fireball attacks. It was best to shoot them when they were doing the fire extinguisher attack. But we did Grim Matchstick, of course, not too bad. Next, we're going to be moving on to Inkwell Isle 3, and we're going to start off with Captain Brinybeard. Now, usually this one would be a breeze no matter what gun, but now, I don't know why, but on Expert, just so many things aligned to make it quite difficult. The final phase especially was really... It was really annoying, because it was really hard to get shots, like really hard to get shots in them. But we managed to do it, because you have to jump to get shots. It was just a pain, but we managed to do it, of course. Next, we're going to be moving on to Sally's stage play. Sally's stage play, well, she took a while, but she was fine, I guess. The first phase was fine, just had to, shoot her, and the second phase, same. Third phase was just a bit harder, because I usually spread, but it took quite a while, and I made a few mistakes. And then final phase was, yeah, easy, decently easy, I suppose. But we did Sally's stage play, of course. Next, we're going to be moving on to Werner Vermin. Now, Werner was pretty easy, I suppose. None of these bosses were really easy, apart from the first two. But Werner was fine. First phase, was fine. It's a lot easier to do it if you're not using close range weapon. So we did first phase. Second phase was, again, fine. I would use a close range weapon for that one. But the uncharged shot works just fine. And then final phase was fine. I just kind of had to, shoot the cat. It's not really, can't really make it any more simpler. So we did Werner Vermin, of course. Next, we're going to be moving on to Rumour Honeybottoms. Now, this one was like, God, it was really tricky, actually. I'll admit that one, it was really hard. Purely because the first phase was actually quite difficult, because I had to get a lot of shots to get rid of it, and if you stayed on there for too long, you just make a mistake. And those worker bees that come are just... They're annoying, because sometimes when the bombs blow up, you can't see them, and it's hard to predict where they're going to go. But this, we did first phase. Second phase was fine, just when she did her chain head. I don't really know what to call that one. The chain head attack in the second phase. That was a bit trickier, but we did second phase. Now, third phase, the climax, was really quite hard, because of the fast-moving things and like constant jolting around. But we did third phase, just had to lock down, and that's Rumour Honeybottom's done. Next, we're going to be moving on to Phantom Express. Now, Phantom Express was fine. Uncharged Shot worked way better than Twist Up and Lobber for the first phase, because it actually destroyed the eyes. But we did the first phase. Second phase was fine, just had to shoot up, I guess. Same with third, just shoot up. And fourth, you guessed it, I also just had to shoot up. But that was Phantom Express done. Pretty easy. Now we can finally move on to Inkwell Hell, and we're going to be starting off with the casino. Now, the casino was fine. I got the 3 bosses. Tipsy Troop, I think I got, which was fine. Then we did Pip and Dot, which was also fine. And then finally, of course, we did Piruletta, which was fine as well. Next, we're going to be moving on to King Dice. Yes, King Dice. King Dice was just pretty easy. If I just shot, it was bound to hit him. Low health. Yeah, pretty pathetic, King Dice was done. Next, we're going to be moving on to, well, the Devil, I guess. The final boss. Now, the Devil took me absolutely ages. It was just so painful, literally. It was just a combination of dodging and shooting. First phase was quite hard. Some of the magic attacks were quite hard to dodge. Second phase was fine, I guess. I just had to shoot the eyes. Third and fourth phase were fine. It was just a bit tricky dodging the counters that fell down. But we did the Devil, and we beat the game on Expert by only using the uncharged shots. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!